It is Friday, September 6th, year of our Lord 2019, pre-algebra. We're talking about variable expressions in algebra, pre-algebra. We're learning to evaluate, to translate, yes, and, oh my goodness. Noah, you have your book?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is my first
Go ahead, Jaden. We're talking about grace in 5th grade Bible. So, since grace is on my mind, Jaden. All right. Yesterday you did page 18, 11 through 26. Correct?
Yeah. 11 through 26.
Yeah.
I thought you said 11 through 18.
Listen, I'm not going to go over all of them. For 11 through 18, you simply had to plug in. Evaluate means just plug in what they gave you, right? There was no solving. Just plug it in and do the arithmetic. 19 through 22. Now you had to write. You had to translate from the English phrase to an algebraic or variable expression. What did you write for number 19? Let me see if I can write your translation on the board here. Miss Crowther, what'd you write for 19?
2 over 5.
You put an X here?
Yeah.
Right next to it. Everybody understand?
Yeah.
2/5. Say the word. Say the word.
Time.
Say the word.
Time.
Mitch, how's your ankle? Better today? What's of mean in math? Okay, so 2/5 of a number. Number 20, a number subtracted from 10. There's only one way to do this. I'm actually secretly hoping somebody tells me the wrong way so we can make sure that anybody else is doing it the wrong way, we can fix it. A number subtracted from 10. Jaden. Okay, so is this a number subtracted from 10?
No.
Who agrees? Jaden and I set that up before class. Didn't I say I want somebody to do it the backward way? Good job. Thanks, Jaden. She volunteered to do that for me, take the fall. And now we're going to read it again. Ready? A number subtracted from 10. What's the number? You can pick X, you can pick T. You get it? They're not the same thing. T minus 10 is 10 subtracted from a number. Say amen if you get that. Okay, number 21. 12 increased by a number. What'd you get, Brett? 12 plus X. Is it okay if I write N? Does it matter? X, N, T. Remember we covered the kid a long time ago that thought, oh, they solved for X, so now that's what X always is? No. You can pick any letter you want to represent a number, the unknown. And Lauren, number 22, the quotient of a number and 7. The quotient of a number and 7. So notice they said the number first. If they would have said the quotient of 7 and a number, you would have written 7 over n. Does everybody get that? Remember, addition and multiplication are, what's that word starts with C? Like, they travel. Commutative. Subtraction and division are not. This is a number divided by 7. Okay, number 23. Evaluate the expression 9t to find out how many miles you go if you're going 9 miles per hour. They gave you your rate. How far do you go then, number 23, if you ride your bike for 2 hours? How far? Distance. They gave you the rate is 9 miles per hour. Now they gave you the time. What's the time, Jaden? Times 2, right? And Jaden says then the distance you travel is 18 miles. You can write MI period. You should be, don't forsake writing your labels. If I don't make you write your labels, then you'll go on to the higher levels and they'll say, who was your pre-algebra teacher? Make sure you got your labels on there. Number 24. How far do you go if you ride your bike for 3.5 hours? Lorelei, same thing. You're going 9 miles per hour. How far do you go if you ride your bike for 3.5 hours?
31.
Who got 31.5 miles? You could have written 31.5, 31.5. You probably should have written 31.5 because they gave you the problem in fractions, so you should put your answer in fractions. Everybody understand that? When you get a problem on a quiz or a test and it's in fraction form, you should give your answer in fraction form. If it's in decimal form, you should give your answer in decimal form. Capiche? Number 25. Write a real world situation that could be modeled by 2 plus AD. Who came up with something? This is probably tougher. Is there a real world situation that you could say, I'd be able to figure out that 2 plus AD. We got, Kara.
I'm going to change it now, but
Why?
Because I don't think it's right. Would it maybe be like toll roads? It's like the farther you go, the more.
Did you hear what she's saying? Anybody ever been in the car with your parents? You go on a toll road. You know, you go up to that thing and maybe you have an easy pass and you just fly right through. But you go up and they get a ticket, they travel down the road, and depending how far you go, you pay more. Thinking along the right lines, now a toll road would work if there was an initial fee to go on the turnpike. You got to pay this amount of money, and then for every mile you go, you pay more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you were thinking the right way. At least you had your hand up because everybody else is kind of like, I don't want to raise my hand on this one. I'm not sure I knew what I was talking about. Come on. Ethan.
Want me to read mine?
Sure.
Mow the lawn, and it grows at a rate of 8D plus 2, where D stands for days since last mowed. The grass grows 1/4 inches at a time.
So you were trying to solve for D, right? That was a good idea. I'm going to use your example to illustrate what they were looking for. Listen, if you're talking about grass, how about this? Ethan was trying to solve, okay? You guys have in your mind that you were supposed to solve something there. You weren't supposed to solve anything, but we're going to use Ethan's example of grass, right? The grass is already how high? Come on, look at the expression. 2 plus 8D. The grass is already how high before we start measuring it? 2 inches high. This is what we're looking for. This is what they're trying to say. If you wanted to know how high the grass would be after a certain amount of time, you would say it started out as 2 inches, and you would let D equal a month. Let D equal number of months. Everybody staying with me? You were going to try to find out how high the grass would be after a certain amount of time. So if we said D equaled number of months, now this is some seriously fertile grass, okay? So the expression was 2 plus 8D. The grass, when you started measuring it, was already 2 inches high. How high would the grass be in inches after 3 months? This is some seriously fast-growing grass. We probably should have called it weeds. Okay? How high would the grass be based on, everybody following this? This is very important. This is like, we've done all the arithmetic stuff. We're at the end of week 2 in algebra, and now you've got something that, according to your hands going up, that you're really not sure of, so I need your absolute focus. This is what they want you to understand. You could figure out how high the grass would be 3 months later. You already had 2 inches of grass. How high would it be 3 months later if it grew at a rate of 8 inches a month? See, they gave you the rate. How high would the grass be?
Like 26 inches. Oh, 26 inches.
26 inches. Everybody understand? You'd be able to figure it out by coming up with a little algebraic variable expression that says, okay, the grass is 2 inches high, and I've noticed this grass grows at 8 inches per month. D's the number of months. That's what we don't know. So we could say 3 months from now, the grass is going to be 26 inches high. 6 months from now, the grass is going to be 6 months from now, the grass is going to be 50 inches high. Everybody got it now? Not totally, but that's all they were looking for. We didn't have to solve. I used his example that he tried to come up with there. The grass started at 2 inches, and we could figure out how high it would be by saying D is the number of months that it grows. Another example might be you go into an amusement park. The admission is $2. Each ride is $1. Does this one make more sense to you?
Oh,
You go into an amusement park, the admission price is $2. D, I can't see. The admission price is $2. We're going to let D equal number of rides. Each ride is, no, we'll let D equal the price of the ride. D is going to be the price of the ride. It costs you $2 to get in. If we say each ride's $1, how much money are you going to spend?
Altogether?
Uh-huh.
10.
$10. You see what they're doing? $2 to get in. Plus $1 if you let D equal 1, it's the cost of the ride. $1 for every ride. You rode 8 rides, cost you $10. Yeah.
That's actually what I had before.
Really?
And I thought it was wrong.
No, that was good. Number 26. You watch X 30-minute TV shows and Y 60-minute TV shows in 1 week. 30-minute TV shows are like, do they even have sitcoms on anymore? You know what a sitcom is? What's the funny shows on TV? Honestly, I don't watch TV. I have cable TV, and I watch like 4 channels. I don't watch anything on like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Like, is there funny shows on still? I honestly don't know. Like, there used to be like this Everybody Loves Raymond or...
In the middle.
In the middle? Is that like a half-hour show?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. And then you've got your hour shows. Like, again, I'm dating myself, but they recently there's been a lot of like police shows.
Live PD.
What are the
911.
okay, and those shows are usually an hour, right? So you watch X number of 30-minute shows, Y number of 60-minute shows in 1 week. Write a variable expression representing the total number of minutes you spend watching television that week. Come on, anybody? You're not solving anything. You're just writing a variable expression to show how many minutes of television you watch that week. You watch X number of 30-minute shows. You have to add to that Y number of 60-minute shows. Lauren.
So you're there 7 days in a week, you have to do
No, you're making it more complicated than it is. Lauren, you were reading too much into it. Z.
30x plus 60x. Or y, whatever.
Which one is it?
60y.
30x plus 60y. Focus, listen. As you're looking at this, I'm going to read what it says in the book, or paraphrase it. You watch an X number of 30-minute shows, and you watch a Y number of 60-minute shows. You add those together, and you would get the total number of minutes you watch TV in a week. Let's say you watched 2 30-minute shows a week. There's 60 minutes. Let's say you watched 4 60-minute shows a week. So now you watch 5 hours a week. You didn't have to solve it. You just had to come up with this expression. I need everybody to look at this and say, yeah, that makes sense. No one has told you yet how many 30-minute shows you watch, but when I tell you, then you'd be able to figure out how many minutes. No one's told you how many 60-minute shows you watch, but when I tell you, then you'll be able to figure it out. They just wanted you to get comfortable with translating that paragraph into this. X represents, it's the unknown. When we put these variables in the expression, you don't know what they are. And for some of you doing this, that was what was frustrating for you. You thought you were supposed to figure out what they were. You weren't supposed to figure out what the X and the Y were. You're like, wait, shouldn't I? No. You'll be able to figure out how many minutes when we tell you. Then you'll evaluate how many minutes you watched. Right now, the X and Y are unknown. Say amen if you just about totally get it. Maybe I should use my old, I'll be right back. Use my old example. Remember this? Remember this? Hopefully the sun doesn't blind you, Sid. Okay? These windows come in handy for me, especially in math class. How many get what we just did? Just writing that expression, 30x plus 60y, where x represents the number of 30-minute shows you watch, and y represents the number of 60-minute shows you watch. You don't know yet. I don't know how many you do, but that's just an expression. How many get it as clearly as looking out this window right here? Like you look out there, you see trees, you see houses. How many are still right here? Whoa, I can see shapes, but I really don't know what's out there. So sometimes in math class, you totally get it. Well, this isn't even total, this is a little bit. But sometimes in math class, you really get it. And sometimes in math class, you're like, man, I understand, I think, but I really don't get it. Or how about this? How many are in this situation? How many are in this predicament right now? Nobody? All right. All right, let's move on. Wouldn't you rather just work? So you wouldn't have any homework over the weekend? All right. Powers and exponents. Go ahead, turn the page. Page 20 and 21. Quick review. Let's get the terms down. I'll try to go fast. Let's get the terms down. Ready? When you see an expression that looks like this, x with the 3 up to the right, this is known as the base. Okay? That's the base. Does that make sense? It's down there on the base. You've got something above to the right. And this, of course, is known as the exponent or power. Do you understand? Raising it to a certain power. Take the number 4 and raise it to the second power. That means take 4 and times it by 4. If you're raising it to the third power of 4, you'd go 4 times 4 times 4, right? Nobody is still in this situation. When you first learned this, you thought it meant like something times 3. No. They would have just written times 3. It's got to be something different, right? It's taking whatever the base is and multiplying it by itself. They reintroduce you, they review order of operations on page 21. And I think usually when we get to this section, we'll just set you going and you'll have 16 minutes for me to figure out if there's something about exponents you don't understand. Does that sound fair? Rather than me sitting there reading through all the examples, you're going to get started on numbers 12 through 34. Go. 12 through 34. And I expect for the next 15 minutes for me to be up here answering your questions if you happen to run into any. 12 through 34.
When do we get our other homework that we already did back?
Those original worksheets were just doing them.
Huh?
They were just doing them.
Yeah, but like
What are
the
we doing?
homework that we did.
Right, they weren't really great. You got credit if you did. Is that all right?
Yeah. I wanted to get graded. I wanted to know how well I did.
True. What page is that? Yeah. Where you at? Are you in number 12? Okay. Write the product as a power and describe the power in words. So you're not going to write 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 on number 12. You're going to write this.
Yeah.
Right? You're writing it as a power. Now it says describe the power in words. This is 9 to the 5th power.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
That makes sense.
Everybody understand? Numbers 15 through 20. Evaluate the power. In other words, tell what its value is. And I should get at least one question when you get to 15 through 20. Yeah.
When you have it, you just go 9 and now you say 81 and then just multiply that times 7 and just keep going.
Are you on number 12?
Yes.
It's right here.
Oh.
They just want you to write it as a power, 9 to the 5th. You don't have to figure it out. You're not figuring out what 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 is. You're rewriting 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 as 9 to the 5th. That's it. And then they wanted you to write it in words. What's that mean? 9 to the 5th power. Yes, Sid.
Is it 12 to 24?
34. Now, when you get to 15 through 20, the first question, any question you might have is, what if there's a 1 next to it? What if you have, like number 15, what if it's to the first power? What's the answer to that?
Is it just type
Case.
itself?
6. Yeah. Because it's 6. And if there was a 2 next to it, it would be 6 times 6, but it's just 6. So anything to the first power is itself. Amen? Bonus question. Ready? I'm not even sure if this is in this lesson. It's in a future lesson if it's not in this lesson. Here's a bonus question for you. What would that be?
Oh.
And that's not 12 degrees. What would 12 to the 0 power be? What? No?
0.
No.
Well, we just
You really know? He looks excited. You remember learning this. You're all excited to tell me. Dominic.
It's 1.
1. Okay, what would this be? If 12 to the 0 power is 1, what would 142 to the 0 power be, Dominic?
1.
1.
what?
What are you figuring out here? Anything to the 0 power is 1.
Yeah, because you're not multiplying by anything.
Well, I'm not sure they explain it in this lesson or a future one, but we'll explain it then. I don't want to take up your time. You got 11 minutes to know homework. David, it's math, right? There's an absolutely reasonable answer to that question. Why is everything to the 0 power 1? And it will be answered.
That's it. If you could just say you don't quantified at all.
No,
Not,
not the reason.
not even being quantified, so it makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want us to write out like for 15 through 20, do you want us to write out like?
15 through 20,
We just-
you're gonna write no, you don't have to write it all. You don't have to write 1 times. No, just tell me what 1 to the 8th is. What's 1 to the 8th power? 1. What's 1 to the millionth power? 1. 1 times 1 is 1 times 1 is 1 times 1, right? Now, you gotta remember when you get to number 21, your order of operations rules. So now we're throwing exponents in there. PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents. So what do you got to do first in number 21? Number 21, it's 2 times 5 to the 2nd power, but the 2 times 5 is in parentheses.
Oh, so you have to do that first.
So I got to do the 2 times 5 first. What is 2 times 5?
10.
Okay, what's 10 squared? This is an easy one too. 10 squared is not 10 times 2, it's 10 times 10. Did you say 5? It's not 10 squared is not 10 times 2, it's 10 times
Oh, so
10. That's a pretty easy one, right? What's 10 times 10?
100.
100 plus 9. Boom, done.
Do we have to write the problem out? Can we just put the answer?
You mean like, do you have to do this?
Yeah. Do you have to
10
that?
squared plus 9,
Yeah.
100.
Oh,
Okay,
we have to
yeah,
do
that.
I
Get
can
it.
just do it.
Yeah,
We have to do it like that?
Do we have to
No,
do
you can
that?
just write the answer
Okay,
here.
I was like,
Again, there's times when you're going to be, I'm going to have to make you write things out because that's key to the problem solving process. Some
So you
teachers
don't think
would
we use it
make you write
properly?
this out. The reason I don't is because what am I constantly harping on? Mental math. There are times when I can't let you use mental math. You've got to write the steps because it's the foundation for problem solving later. And by the way, thankfully nobody in this class has asked this question yet, so we'll cover it. Keep working. We'll cover it while you're working. The most common question asked by students that don't really like math is, and parents, why do we have to do algebra? We're never going to use it. Okay. The whole purpose to me behind all students in high school learning algebra, you're right. Some of you will go throughout life and technically never use algebra, but guess what? You're having to tackle something where you're learning problem solving strategies. How many have watched or hear the news? Are there problems in the world?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is just building skills, building your repertoire of intelligence and intellect that's going to allow you to, in future situations, oh, yeah, I was able to learn that process, and the new process, I'll be able to learn that too. I'll be able to solve problems, and the world needs problem solvers. Let me tell you. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Okay, 18, you're taking 10 times 10 times, now what's 10 times 10? What's 100 times 10? Why are you asking?
So is that what you do?
That's it. Just write, hey, Kim, 1,000. Yes, ma'am.
20? So can you just, alright, never mind, I see it.
Number 20?
No, I just didn't know what the almost over it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Still 7 minutes to work before homework. It is my hope and desire, honestly, that you either get done or have like maybe 10 minutes of math homework.
we have the activity period.
Oh, and you have
Some-
activity
Well,
period.
some people.
Oh, well then I should give you
No,
more.
I have praise
No.
team.
Praise team.
Well, then.
See you next week, and we'll have communication through the group thing set up.